Local boy from Kellyville, 56.72. Pretty close times. With me in commentary, Colin Bond. What do you think of these club cars around here?
Well, they're very good, actually, I must admit. They're a club car, they're fairly cheap to run, not too much modifications allowed, no racing tyres, and it's always really good close racing, Chris.
Oh, yeah, really close. They hop up the hill. We got Phelan on the inside, and on the outside we got Cole Matthews, and boy, they're getting swapped as they go up the hill. We've got cars everywhere, club cars all over the place. Cole Matthews finds himself back in third position, and out in the lead we've got Mark Phelan. Beautiful start up the hill, got himself in the right position, and cars everywhere diving around down the lift. We've got some Mazdas of all descriptions. I think even the Fancy 1600 probably got a Mazda engine in it, I'd say. Cars everywhere filing down here. Even Richard Walker, just saw that some of the cars here, everyone wants to go at this last Amaroo.
I must admit, the Mazda seem to be the car having this particular series. They're obviously dominating the racing, and from the RX-7s right through the old RX-3s and what have you. Basically, they're all good motor cars, and we just got a manoeuvre now trying to go down the outside, obviously coming to stop-go corner. It's fairly critical coming onto the straight. You can't come onto the straight too aggressive. I bet these guys will try it.
Yeah, certainly having a good videos. Up the straight for the first time. And again, I mentioned before, they've got also the Commodore in there, we've got a Falcon, we've got RX-7s everywhere. This category, they call it club cars, but when you look at them, Cole Matthews' car there just on screen, looks a bit of a touch there coming into the loop. And some of these cars look like they've been built by the HRT. Honestly, the standard of workmanship and the amount of work that goes into what they loosely call a club car, they certainly have a fair bit of effort that goes into these cars, Cole.
Sure, I think like everybody these days, the preparation that goes into all the motor cars is a credit to the guys, obviously, that get out here. As I said before, it is a fairly cheap formula, not the motor racing cheap these days, but it's a formula that if you really like to compete in motorsport at this type of level, it's supposed to be designed to let the club guy come along, have a bit of a race, have a bit of fun, and obviously it's not very expensive. It's got a bit sideways in the background there. I think that's number 6.
Yeah, that's
Harry Squire.
Yeah, Squire's really getting into it too. There's some good action going on. It was Lou Iezzi and Ian Freeman there that are really getting into it. And up the outside, inside over the crest of the hill at Pitcher Pave, that's Ian Freeman. I'll tell you what, he's putting in a pretty good effort in this thing. It looks like a very quick little car, and to make a move like that over the crest of the hill at Pitcher Pave here at Amaroo Park, Colin, I think you've probably had a few goes at that in the Sierra days, I think.
Well, all sorts of cars, I think, Chris. Obviously it's a good passing place if you can get up on the outside going over the top, because push on the inside for the coming down through the right hander at the top, and there is a good passing manoeuvre there. We just saw one, very nice place. But no, these cars are very closely matched. No one's really bolting away, and it's very good close racing.
Yeah, called club cars, as I said, and a lot of people probably wonder what club cars are really all about. I guess probably the best way to sum it up is saying that it is a starting point for motor racing. You can get into it reasonably cheaply. They're on radial tyres, or radial road type tyres. They're not on slicks or racing slicks, and it does give you the opportunity to start in racing and get into something that's a reasonably quick car fairly cheaply. Just over the crest of the hill there was John Paul Ballard in car 68 on a P plate, for example, and this is one of his first races. The guy's running up reasonably front-running car, and I suppose Amaroo is a circuit that certainly develops some driving skills, and people that manage to start out in something, if they can master Amaroo Park, they usually find they go well at most other tracks.
Sure. The P plate just means that he's just got his licence, and obviously, you do a few races and you've got a P plate on. I think this guy should have had one as well. I don't know if you should criticise the driver until we see exactly how he finished up in that position. That was, I look like car 37, I think, which would have been Steve McClintock. I don't know if he's any relation to the McClintock that used to race Clubman's here many, many years ago. Could be. And that car looked like it was pretty heavily in the wall. I don't know how he managed to do it, but one of the things we have found here at Amaroo Park on this race meeting, the last race meeting here for these cars, or for any cars at Amaroo Park, one thing that we have seen during the weekend is people having a really big go, because the general consensus around with the drivers is, well, if I'm going to try and get through that corner flat, this is the last chance I'm going to have, so I think I'll try it. It looks like, Chris, when you see him, he's gone straight ahead there off, look, he's come down, locked the brake, and just gone straight into the wall, but
maybe he got banged by another car or was trying to do an overtaking manoeuvre down the outside, so we can't be too critical.
Yeah, it is very difficult down there because that's one place when you lock it up, you've got to get back off the brake so you regain the steering, and the big temptation is you see the wall coming up and you stay on the brake pedal, and before you know it, you're in all sorts of trouble. Going back now, looking at the cars heading up the main straight, one person we haven't seen for a while is Phelan, and the other one's Cole Matthews, because they've just bolted, they've disappeared. The person we're looking at now is Lou Iuzzi, and he's in that little group there with John Paul Ballard, and again Ian Freeman. They're having such a great little dice that obviously we've forgotten about the leaders. They've bolted, and these guys are just getting into it and really having a good race. You can see a white spot just going down in the left-hander there. That looks like it's Cole Matthews, and Phelan's around there somewhere. So that just gives you an idea of the lead that the others have got over this tight little group.
I'm just looking at old Harry Squire at the back of this lot. You know, the car looks a bit older, obviously modelled than the cars in front of him. He's driving it very well, getting it sideways all the time. It's a little bit taily, but he's managing to stay with them. Oops, there he goes again. He's certainly giving it plenty coming onto the straight.
Yeah, definitely a bit more tail that attitude as they side by side run up the hill onto the King. Big move up on the inside there. John Paul's just managed to hang on to it. See the tail coming out as they go through the King. Pretty fast part of the circuit there too, I'd say, Cole.
It is. I think he's using the whole road to make sure that he stays in front, you know. But we've got another one just sneaking down the inside, and it's obviously the place to be. You don't want to be out on the outside there.
Yeah, that's out on the outside through, on the exit of the loop. A lot of people have come to grief through there. Definitely not the place to be. Very fast section here too, looking at Mazda corner, they used to call it. I think it's probably still called Mazda. We tend to stick to the old names. And Mazda corner with this little group of rotary engine cars all over the place. And they're really having a good run here. Just looking at Squires again. Let's see what he does into stop corner. He certainly came out of it pretty sideways the last couple of times. Here he is. Plenty of opposite lock early. They're into it now. Little short straight. They really have a lot of fun here today.
There goes our leader up pitch pave anyway, over the top. You know, it looks like he's got a clear lead now at this stage. Anyhow, not really being pressured by anybody from behind.
Yeah, that's as I said, that was Mark Phelan, and he runs a couple of cars actually. I think he's got a turbo Mazda as well, and this lightweight version that he's recently been running also. And Mark is a guy that certainly seems to have a lot of time on his hands to go motor racing. I don't know where he finds the money to do it. Maybe it's a very successful and very efficiently run business that he has, but whether he charges too much, I don't know. But anyway, looking back here, we got this little dice once again. Cars, they're coming out through some of the slower traffic now, and this really does sort people out around Amaroo. I guess, Bondi, you'd certainly know what happens when you get up in a bit of traffic around here.
Sure, plus the other thing is too, you're noticing these cars are sliding a bit more than what they were at the beginning of the race, and say, because the tyres they're using, you know, if they're running on race tyres, they've got a lot more grip, of course, you know, and the tyres seem to have more grip the whole distance of the race. As these tyres, being a road type tyre, get a lot more heat into them, and they just start building up pressure, and they start losing a bit of the traction they had at the beginning. And consequently, that's why you're seeing these cars slide a fair bit now. But I think it's great, you know, to see these things sliding around. You know, you get bored these days, some of the cars, but so much grip, and they go around the corner so fast. But it's great watching these guys, you know, and they're having a lot of fun out there too, you know, correcting the slides and braking and trying to brake late, you know, with these sort of tyres, blocking up brakes and wheels and so on. And they're really all having a bit of fun and having a go.
Yeah, they're definitely having a go as they come down to the loop. We've got Graham Shea and the little Mazda Compeller right behind the Escort. Cole, they're having a big go here.
Gee whiz, the Escort's done a great job there avoiding. Feet are spinning, and the Holden's come through too. Nobody else has collected him, which has been very good driving actually on their behalf.
Yeah, just talking about a bit of action, people having a go, and it all unfolded. We had the Capella go out wide, and the Escort managed to miss him. There's a big shuffle up here, and Marty Miller and the Holden made up a few spots along the way. And again, up the hill, we got John Paul Ballard. It looks like someone's thrown a can of yellow paint, or maybe they tripped over it after they just finishing painting the car blue, but it looks spectacular. It certainly comes up well on TV. And again, look at Squires, the tail out around here. Bobby, what do you think of that? Bring back a few memories?
Well, it does. I mean, I've been impressed with it because obviously the car hasn't got a lot of slot in the straight line compared to the ones he's racing with. But he's certainly picking them up around the corners. You know, now we've got an Audi going up the drive and seen the race before.
That looks like KB's old road car. I don't know if it's the four-wheel drive version or not. I tell you what, that'd be a pretty handy thing around here.
Would be.
And that Escort again, that's not one of your old rally cars, is it?
No, it looks too straight actually. He was getting a little bit wide there, but the Audi, that's a different, it's a Quattro, so it's definitely a four-wheel drive Quattro. I don't know whether it's turbocharged or not, you know, I don't know too much about it actually. It's driven by Peter, was it Bartlett or something? God,
Maybe could be a relative. Like I said, it KB's old road car. Anyway, John Paul Ballard crests the hill at Bitcher Pay for one of the last times he'll ever get the opportunity to crest that hill and fire off down into the loop, the Dunlop loop as it used to be called. And again, going back, we've got Mark Phelan heading up the hill on what would appear to be the last lap. I think I saw the last lap board just out there before. I'll tell you what, hasn't
they're closing up.
Got a bit, yeah, Cole Matthews, I just really caught me by surprise because 1 minute we had a huge lead out in front. Next, and we got another one go up. Who's that? That looks like Ian Freeman that we had having a big dice early on, finally thrown away. Last lap, Cole Matthews absolutely throwing everything at Phelan. Cole got a very bad start, finished up behind a few people, locking the brakes up. Now that's what you do, Cole, you get back off again, you get the steering up. That way you don't go straight ahead into the wall.
Absolutely.
Coming down into stop corner, we've got Mark Phelan, certainly having a little glance in his mirrors there to make sure that Matthews stays behind him. And they come out onto the short little straight. Cole's got plenty of power on early. Looks like he's going to get a good run onto the straight. Don't know if they get across the line side by side. I think he might make it. This is a big lunge as Cole crosses the line just behind Mark Phelan. Unbelievable finish that time.
Surely was.